It ends not with a bang, but with the silent echo of an empty kitchen. This is where dreams of Michelin stars come to die, where the symphony of flavors is replaced by the hum of a dying refrigerator. Just a few months ago, this room was the talk of the town. Tonight, it's a tombstone for ambition. The story of Ciara O'Connell doesn't start with success. It starts here, at rock bottom. Her restaurant, Aperture, was meant to be more than a place to eat. It was a gallery where every plate was a masterpiece. Ciara wasn't just a chef, she was a culinary scientist, a flavor architect. Critics called her a prodigy. They praised her deconstructed concepts, her foams, her gels, her courage. They said she was changing the game. But there was one problem. While the critics wrote poetry about her food, the tables remained empty. Her art was too complex, too cold, too distant. People admired it, but they didn't love it. And admiration doesn't pay the bills. The game she was trying to change had changed her instead, from a rising star into a cautionary tale. Defeated, with the taste of failure bitter in her mouth, she saw something that night. Not fine dining, not complex artistry, just happiness. Simple, honest, unpretentious joy in a paper wrapper. And in the heart of her failure, a dangerous, radical idea began to form. What if she had been wrong all along? What if genius wasn't about complexity? What if it was about perfecting simplicity? She traded her chef's whites for a worn-out apron, her state-of-the-art kitchen for a tin can on wheels. To the culinary world, this wasn't a new beginning, it was an admission of defeat. The prodigy was now flipping burgers. But they didn't see what was happening inside that truck. It wasn't a kitchen, it was a laboratory. But old habits die hard. Her first attempts were a disaster. She was still thinking like a fine dining chef, trying to elevate, to complicate. She was serving masterpieces to people who just wanted a meal. The ghost of Aperture was haunting her, whispering that simple wasn't smart enough, that she was better than this. She was failing because she hadn't truly let go of her past. So she stopped trying to be a chef and went back to being a scientist. She wasn't just thinking about taste anymore. She was thinking about memory, about biochemistry. She realized every powerful food memory, a grandmother's baking, a campfire barbecue, had a chemical fingerprint, a unique combination of scent and flavor that bypassed logic and went straight to the heart. Her mission was no longer to create a good burger. It was to reverse engineer happiness. This was the birth of what the world would later call the Neuro-Burger. Every single element was a key designed to unlock a specific emotional door. The perfect char on the patty to trigger feelings of comfort and satisfaction. A custom toasted potato bun whose scent profile was linked to nostalgia. Even the cheese was chosen for its specific melting point, creating a texture that stimulates a dopamine release. It looked simple, but it was the most complex dish she had ever created. She parked her truck, now renamed The Core, far from the trendy food districts. Her first customers weren't foodies. They were ordinary people, looking not for art, but for sustenance. And they found something more. They couldn't explain it. The burger didn't just taste good, it felt good. It felt like coming home after a long day. Word of mouth started to spread, not with explosive hype, but as a shared secret, a quiet, growing whisper. The revolution didn't start in the pages of glossy magazines. It started online, in short, heartfelt posts. People weren't describing the ingredients, they were describing their feelings. They were sharing stories of how a simple meal had a profound effect on their mood. The Core became a local legend, an urban myth. The food truck that didn't just feed your body, but seemed to feed your soul. But whispers eventually become loud enough to reach the old world. One evening, a man stood in her line, hidden by the rain and a baseball cap. He wasn't a regular. He was a ghost from her past. Julian Vance, the most feared food critic in the country, the man whose words had signed the death warrant for Aperture. He had come, expecting to find the final, pathetic chapter of a failed chef's story. He did not write a review. He wrote an apology, a confession. He told the world that he had witnessed the future of food, not in a multi-million-dollar restaurant, but from a humble food truck in the rain. He wrote that Ciara O'Connell hadn't abandoned art. She had finally perfected it. The article went viral. By lunchtime that day, the quiet whisper around the Core had become a global roar. The world didn't just notice the Core. It became obsessed. The Neuro-Burger wasn't a trend. It was a phenomenon. It sparked a global conversation about the connection between food, memory, and emotion. Scientists studied it. Competitors tried and failed to replicate it because they couldn't copy the one secret ingredient. Ciara's failure, her journey from the top to the very bottom. She could have rebuilt her old empire, opened another exclusive, expensive restaurant, but she had learned her lesson. The Core expanded, but it never betrayed its origins. It remained simple, affordable, and honest. Ciara didn't build a monument to her own ego. She built a brand dedicated to one simple idea, that everyone, everywhere, deserves a taste of happiness. The story of Ciara O'Connell is not about burgers. It's a story about a powerful truth. Sometimes you must lose everything to find what truly matters. Your greatest failure is not the end. It's a redirection, a painful but necessary lesson that forces you to strip away everything that is unessential. Genius is not about adding more. It's about having the courage to take away everything except for the soul.